here, what's going on guys? Today, I'll be showing you some of my games from the top 8 CRL monthly final. This video will be in replays format. I wasn't able to record live because the games were just so intense I didn't want to, risk anything happening. For game 1, I was up against Moogie, and he decided to play a Golem deck. I was playing Goblin Drill. Each match is a whole best of 3, and you can only play each card once in the entire best of 3. So if you play a Valkyrie the first game, for example, then you can't play it in the second or third game after that. Me and my coach were hoping to face a Lava Hound deck with this Goblin Drill deck, but honestly I was fine facing Golem because this deck does have quite a few answers for really any beatdown deck in general. Moogie went for a very aggressive Golem at the bridge. I just played the Executioner, but I thought I might be dead if he goes for the Tornado. He had the Tornado, but he didn't play it for some reason. I think he would have just won if he played the Tornado, honestly. I'm not sure, maybe not won, but he would have got a ton of damage. The thing is, you just can't know it in the moment. You guys might be thinking, wow, Moogie's so silly for not playing the Tornado, but you really don't think in the moment about that. I don't know why he didn't Tornado, but he probably thought I would have had more Elixir to defend or something like that. I'm not sure. So yeah, after that bit of a scare at the start, I just wanted to make sure I would play a little bit safer in this matchup. Went for the poison on the pump here, I think. Yeah. It's always a -1 trade, but you still have to do it. I didn't really want to go for the Goblin Drills here, because I knew he had the Skelly King and Bomber in cycle to counter them. It's not really worth it to go for drills unless you know they have something not good in cycle to stop them, or if they play a Golem in the back, sometimes you have to. Yeah, so he went for a Golem, I just went in for the Goblin Drill. Didn't want to play the Executioner too early, because if you do that, then they can sometimes Tornado it into their push and just kill it very easily. Also guys, I heard some of the casters saying that I sometimes screenshot hate comments, and I look back on them and just feel happy after I do whatever that they said I couldn't do. And that is true, I do want to confirm that. Before this match I was seeing a lot of hate comments. Well, there's obviously a lot of positive comments too, and I focus on the positive of course, but yeah, I like to see the hate comments sometimes as well. And just look back on it when I do whatever they said I couldn't do. So yeah, I was really hoping to do something against Moogie, but obviously he's a back-to-back, well not back-to-back, but 2-time Clash Royale League World Champion. The only ever 2-time Clash Royale League World Champion, so I wasn't feeling particularly good at this point because I knew an Evo Bomber could completely change things at any moment. Our deck should have a hard counter here, but the thing is Evo Bomber does destroy this deck that we're playing. I knew he would have to Skelly King up high for this. Got a couple Goblin stabs on the tower. I don't know what happened, but somehow the Golem didn't go for the Tesla. I think the Skeletons may have pushed it. I wasn't too worried though because it didn't have too much HP left. I could have stopped the E-Drag a bit better, but I didn't really care if it got on my tower for a little bit of damage. Just didn't want to overcommit too much. Moogie was up so much Elixir at this point, and up in damage too. I went in for the Goblin Drill because he had pretty much nothing good in cycle to stop it. Forced out a whole Night Witch, which is really good for us. Got a nice poison too. Couple Goblin stabs. And look what happened to Moogie. His E-Drag went in front. If that didn't happen, that could have been very good for him. You guys can see, Moogie started to make just a couple random misplays like that first Golem. He didn't Tornado with it, and that E-Drag was quite bad. I don't know what happened, but somehow the Night Witch survived with 1 HP, so I had to waste an entire Tesla, unfortunately. But once again, I forced out the Night Witch on the Drill, which you can see is really helping us out in this matchup. At this point, I was kind of just keeping track of his Evo Bomber and when it would be in cycle. That was my only concern. And Moogie once again messed up the E-Drag. I was actually playing really calm this game. I knew I had a solid matchup, so I just wanted to be on my best game and not make any crazy misplays. I didn't have to make any crazy outplays to Moogie to win this game. I just had to continue playing my normal game and not panic, really. Got a super good Evo Tesla killing everything. Man, Evo Tesla is just insane, and also the Evo Valkyrie was going crazy on the Golem. And I think I did go in for another Goblin Drill push, yeah. I feel like Moogie's E-Drags were just not very good this game. Even though the pressure was on me too, I feel like it was a lot more on Moogie since he needs, or since he has very high expectations for being the world champ already. I was up 1-0 against Moogie, so I was feeling pretty good, but if there's one player you can't count out in this situation, it's gotta be Moogie. I cycled the Knight. I was playing a Balloon cycle deck. Wasn't really sure what to expect, I just thought it could do good since he wasted Tornado and, a couple other good cards in his previous deck. When I saw the bowler Little Prince, I pretty much knew it would be Giant Graveyard. I thought Giant Graveyard could be a bit of a difficult matchup since I knew he wasted the Zap. I knew he had to have Snowball in there, which does counter Balloon quite a bit better than a Zap would. And also, he does have quite a few air defenses in the deck. The Archers, Bats, Snowball, Little Prince, everything. Even the Dagger Duchess itself is quite good against the Balloon. I just went for the early Inferno Tower. The one very nice thing about this is that I had the Inferno Tower, which my coach decided to put in the deck, and Mugi had no Zap, so he had no way to reset it, which was very good for me. Definitely helped out quite a bit. Mugi did still go in for the Graveyard because the tower wasted all of its ammo on the Giant, so that was not a bad Graveyard, but just our stuff was able to counter it pretty easily. I knew he would get a very good bowler here, couldn't do too much about it. I could have went for a Miner or something onto it, but I didn't want to play too risky. I went in for the Little Prince ability. I got a beautiful timing, just somehow stunning the bowler and making it forget to shoot, I guess. I went in for the aggressive Balloon here. Didn't really expect to get too much damage, I just wanted to cycle some stuff, maybe get some death damage. It actually got very close to the tower, almost got a hit, not quite. But his Little Prince did die to our Death Bomb, which was quite good. And we ended pretty much even elixir, maybe down like a little over 1. Which isn't half bad. I cycled the Miner on the tower, didn't really have too much else to do. Just decided to go in aggressively. The one issue in this matchup is that our cycle can get quite awkward. Sometimes there's just not really any good play to make, so you have to make a play that might seem a bit bad on paper. I did go in for the Evo Zap just to finish off the Little Prince. Worked out pretty nicely. Evo Knight is quite nice in this matchup to tank for the Dagger Duchess. Got some nice and easy arrows here on the Evo Bats and everything. But yeah, when he played the bowler in the back, I didn't really have any good play to respond to it. Kind of had to waste the guards, which were really bad for me to waste, but I just had no options, really, for what else to cycle. I knew he might try to go in here with something. Yeah, so I went in for the late Little Prince ability, and I actually got my tower on the Graveyard, but it killed the Skelly so quick that it went back on the Giant somehow. And I kind of thought I was dead here. I played the guards, and they just got wrecked by the Little Prince ability. Couldn't really do anything else, though. Then I played the Zap quickly. Yeah. Luckily, Little Prince did do some very good work, but the one Evo Archer just got so much damage. And here I pretty much knew I lost at this point, and that I'd probably have to take it to a game 3. You just don't want to be down in damage in this situation against Giant Graveyard. But I did want to play it just a little bit slow because I had the Evo Knight in cycle, so I knew I could still make a nice push. Unfortunately, the bowler went for the guards, but Mugi did kind of waste the arrows Snowball, not even hitting the Little Prince or anything, which was quite a big misplay. So I went for the Balloon kind of farther back. Was hoping the Evo Knight might tank, but I knew he probably wouldn't let it. Yeah, he was kind of just bridge blocking, so I just decided to go for the Miner to waste all the daggers from the Dagger Duchess. Got some pretty quick arrows. I knew he had the Evo Bats in cycle, and I knew he'd go for them late, so I just went for the Evo Zap, because even if he played them late, the Evo Zap would still kill them. So I did secure a Balloon hit. Second Balloon was already coming down. I sent the arrows in there and sent the quick Zap. I thought it would be a good game. I thought the Balloon would get a hit on the tower, but it just barely didn't. I knew he had Giant, so I went for the Inferno Tower. Super risky play, but I actually caught it. I actually caught it. Riley was actually telling me on call at this very moment to not do that Inferno Tower, but I still did it. And luckily I did not listen to Riley. So yeah, I just cycled quickly back to my arrows, and I was able to 2-0 the Clash Royale World Champion. After I faced Mugi, I ended up facing another player, and I did lose. I feel like I played pretty well that set, but just got some pretty difficult matchups and also a couple kind of weird interactions. So I decided to play the Goblin Drill deck once again, and this time against Morton. I thought he had Golem when I saw the Pump and Little Prince, but then I saw the arrows and I knew he probably had the Giant deck, which he's running. I think this matchup is pretty good for Drill. You just have to be very careful of the Evo Bomber mainly. I just went for the Valkyrie. Yeah, Valkyrie at 10. So here I was thinking maybe I could get some nice damage because he couldn't really kill our Executioner. So I just went for the XC here. Then I wanted to cycle to our Drill to go in. So yeah, I went for the Goblin Drill because our Executioner and Valkyrie push would also support it quite a bit. But then I saw the Phoenix. I knew he might try to giant the bridge here, and that's what he did. And I was thinking, okay, I might be pretty dead right now. So I went to pull the Phoenix in the middle, but the really bad thing is that the giant has a longer range now, so the right side tower didn't shoot the giant. I could have tornadoed here and maybe killed the little prince and pulled the Phoenix, but I didn't do that. I just went for the king tower activation, and then here I just died. So yeah, the problem was that I was just too aggressive in single elixir. I was trying to play this deck like the Goblin Drill cycle deck I normally play instead of playing it like this heavier drill deck. So yeah, pretty much just lost the game at this point. I was feeling pretty bad already down 0-1 against Morton. Definitely not a good place to be in. I decided to go in for an RG deck for game 2. Morton decided to run Electro Giant, which does counter most RG decks pretty well. When I saw the cage, I already pretty much knew it would be Electro Giant. But I definitely didn't count myself out because I know I can outskill any player in the game. So he wasted the cage and bowler. I just went in for the RG. I already knew he had Electro Giant. He didn't really have anything great to stop the RG. I think he had to take quite a few hits to his tower. So I just tried to go in for the king tower activation against the bowler with this fisherman placement. I knew he might tornado, and that is what he did, but a bit of a late tornado, so didn't do too much for him. Fisherman somehow went back and caught the knight still. I didn't think he had too much in cycle for the ghost, but he actually did have archers in the deck. I went in for the early barbell knowing that his tower wasted its ammo, so it couldn't fully counter it. Got one nice barb hit. So yeah, I knew I could outskill Morton even though he had a solid matchup here. You might think, oh, why should you be able to outskill these players who might be higher skilled than you? Like, you might say, oh, Muhammad Light is higher skilled than Ian and stuff like that. But I know that I can outskill anyone. I'm not saying I'm higher skilled than them, but I'm saying I can outskill anyone. That's what I believe, at least. You don't have to agree, but that's what I knew at this moment. Because against E-Giant, you do have to usually outplay them if you want to have a chance with RG. To be fair though, that was a horrible E-Giant, so I was feeling actually not half bad. He went for the E-Giant without even having Elixir for the Tornado. I have no idea why he did that, but he did. So I just decided to punish him and go in for the Evo RG with this push here. He didn't have too much in cycle, just had two, I think, Goblin Cage. Yeah, but Barbara was kind of nice here. Also was able to tank a little bit. Got one RG shot, and I think one more as well. Okay, not quite. Little Prince did end up dying, but it's fine. I cycled the Bomber because I just wanted to get some more Evo Bomber damage. I went in aggressively to hit the RG. I wanted to save the Fisherman, so I just played the Phoenix. Somehow I still got one RG shot on the tower, even past all of that stuff. And yeah, I feel like Morton was just not playing too well this match. You could kind of tell that his game was just a little bit off. I think he's known for not playing too much E-Giant, so yeah, I think that's why he wasn't playing super well with it. I just went in for the aggressive Evo Bomber kind of early, but look, watch, it does end up working out. Got a super good double bounce, which was great. He had just nothing to really block it. Here I was a little bit concerned. I feel like he could have lightninged the right side there and maybe got some nice damage. I knew he had the Evo Archer, so I had my Fireball ready kind of quickly. Just didn't want to deal with them, to be honest. The E-Giant was pretty healthy, so I was hoping my stuff could counter it on the right side. Luckily, the Phoenix killed itself, so it could respawn as well. And I just went in for the Evo RG. I knew he would Goblin Cage, but I thought it could still maybe get some damage. But with the Mega Minion, couldn't really do too much. I knew he had Tornado, so I just played the Little Prince to try to not have to, you know, worry about him tornadoing a Fisherman or whatever. Had to Fireball the left side, which felt kind of bad, and had to also Bar Barrel. But I did survive, which is all that matters. I knew he would E-Giant with this push here. And he did. So I played the Evo Bomber first, just to get some damage on that, and then I played the Fisherman later. And I think he didn't have Elixir for the NATO right away. He played the Tornado, but just a second late, so the Fisherman was actually able to just slightly pull it. And his tower got pretty low somehow. I think my RG earlier may have actually got a shot on the tower. I'm not sure though. The thing is, I was gonna need 3 fireballs to win, which I couldn't really afford to cycle at this point. I knew I needed to get some RG damage on the tower, or just defend, which could be a bit tough. So just decided to cycle, you know, the early Fisherman's. Kind of a questionable lightning by Morton. Don't really think that's a great play when you're down in damage that much. Went kind of aggressive with the RG, just hoping to get one shot. That's really it. And then I went for the Evo Bomber, and I did get on the Goblin Cage, and that pretty much sealed the deal. Got a very nice win against Morton. This was it. I decided to play a Balloon deck for game number 3. I have been playing quite a bit of Balloon and quite a bit of Goblin Drill in CRL, but you can still see that it works out most of the time. You just have to be careful to switch up the order you play it in. Also, this time in the Balloon deck, I did have the Archer Queen and Bomb Tower instead of Little Prince and Inferno Tower. Morton decided to run an RG deck, which I thought would be a pretty good matchup. We were kind of thinking he could run RG, but very unfortunately, he decided to put the Tesla in there, which completely changed the matchup. I just went pretty aggressively here. I felt like Morton had kind of a bad cycle, which I was correct about. One of the worst RGs I've ever seen. Straight into an Archer Queen, and I already had my second ability ready at this point, so I just popped it. I knew the Ghost would die to the Bomb Tower. Got one nice Queen shot. He got away pretty easily for such a bad RG, to be honest. But yeah, I was feeling pretty good about this start. At this point, I didn't know he had Tesla. I thought his only air defense would be the Mother Witch and Skeleton Dragons. I did have my Evo Zap already up next, so I thought I could go in here pretty aggressively and get probably his whole tower. So I just went in for the Balloon here. I knew the Fisherman would pull the Knight up to it, and I could just Evo Zap whatever he played on the Balloon. But then he brought out the Tesla, which I was not very happy about. Tried to take it out. Unfortunately, the left side Dagger Duchess did a really good job. I went for the arrows. I knew the Skelly Drags wouldn't die, but I just wanted to, you know, take them off the board. Then he went for the Bridge RG, and in hindsight, I feel like I definitely shouldn't have played those arrows there. I was playing this matchup a little bit more like I had a Princess Tower, because if I had a Princess Tower, I would have had to arrows there, but since I had Dagger Duchess, I just didn't need to do that. The kind of annoying thing about the new tower troops is that you pretty much have to learn all these new interactions just so quickly. You don't have really enough time to learn every little thing. I did have the Evo Knight down, so I decided to go in again once it crossed the bridge. I went for the Miner after the Balloon. I knew the Balloon would die either way, so I just wanted to get some minor chip damage. He went for the pretty aggressive RG. I went in for the late guards. Really good guards, though, to push the Ghost off the tower. I was feeling pretty bad at this point. I thought I lost already, but I didn't want to give up just yet because I knew there's still a small chance if I make some nice play, I could still win this matchup. The very good thing about this matchup is the Archer Queen for us, but just the Tesla really saves him. At this point, I don't really think I could break through anymore, unless I got some small minor connection or, you know, whatever else. I don't really know about the Evo RG by Morton. Morton did have some very nice RGs, but also some very questionable RGs as well. Got a very nice defense. I went for the guards here to protect the Queen, but somehow the Fisherman got on the Queen instead of the Knight. And I'm not really sure why, but that did kind of mess me up a little bit. But not too badly. I was still feeling okay. You can see I start to slow down the game a little bit here, just focusing more on defense than going in for big balloon pushes. Kind of had to waste my Evo Zap here on the Skelly Drags. Didn't really want to. Kind of a wasted Evo Tesla by him, I feel like. Then he went for the RG in the back. I just had to try to abuse my Queen as much as possible. Got a really nice miner when his tower was pretty much out of ammo. The issue here is that he has a big spell, and I didn't have a big spell. Just went in for the Knight, and I think I got a pretty good zap as well. But my tower was already out of ammo, so I couldn't really do too much here. You can see the real issue with Dagger Duchess against RG. I feel like Dagger Duchess can be quite bad against RG. It can be okay sometimes, but other times it's so bad, especially in double and triple. And his Evo RG just wrecked me. If that was a normal RG, it would get like no hits, but dude, the knockback just destroyed my Knight, just destroyed everything really. And at this point, I thought it was over, but I had one last push in me, went for the Evo Knight, hoping the Fisherman could maybe pull it and I could get a small connection. Well, not a small connection, but the balloon on the tower and maybe still win. I got something going here, but it just wasn't enough. Decided to play the Archer Queen in the back since he wasted the Fireball. But yeah, I just had no time left. I knew that he would just need one more Rage and one more Fireball to win the game. I feel like I could have maybe won this matchup. It was a little bit difficult with the Tesla. And yeah, my CRL run came to an end, but I ended up getting top 6 this month. Really happy with the result. Honestly, guys, I was just happy to be here, even in the top 8. Just really blessed to even be there, and I ended up beating the world champion too, so I'm really happy with how things went. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!